3 of Money Revealed. Great to be with you again. I know there's a ton of wonderful information here that can have a massive impact on your life and on your future. So just know that if you want to own Money Revealed, you can. All the information's right here on this page if you're interested in that. And thank you also for sharing this with other people. The momentum is building now. Episode 3 is chock full of great information. Let's dive right into it. Don't invest another penny in your 401k until you watch this next interview with Andy Tanner. I was riveted, again, very contrarian in his attitudes. And I'm not here to give you the financial advice, but I am here to tell you that you need to listen to what this guy has to say before you move forward with those types of retirement accounts. There's a wealth of information here. His energy, again, is something that's going to stimulate you into thinking and taking action. Enjoy my interview with Andy Tanner. Well, Andy, I'm excited to have this conversation because you have a reputation for having a lot of passion around this subject of investing. So,
for sure.
So I'm looking forward. So thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited about this.
So how did you end up in this career that you're in? Like, what was your trajectory?
Well, I started out like most people, went to school, and I didn't go to school for any particular major. I'm 6'8", so they hired me to play basketball.
I was going to say, did you have a basketball scholarship?
Yeah.
You're 6'8". I feel like a very small person sitting next to you.
I tell people I couldn't shoot, I couldn't jump, but I could foul. So they found a spot for me there, and when that was over, I just got into the workforce like anybody else. I struggled to find what I want to do, so my wife and I were in very low-paying jobs. And what was interesting is in the year 2000, when the market fell, we had small 401ks. We were just getting started, but they were really, they were drastically hit. Mm-hmm. And I was puzzled because I felt like we were taking the advice that everyone was telling us to take. Mm-hmm. And I thought, boy, if this happens again, and I started to research. And the more I researched, the less impressed I was.
Right.
And I got angry, actually. And I thought, people need to know this. And so through that research, it channeled me into being an educator and a speaker. And so now for the past 25 years, we've had the opportunity to travel the world and as a student and a teacher to share the things I've been learning with others. And it's been amazing.
So what did you discover about 401ks and what should people know?
Well, you get me going on this. It's very passionate. To really understand both sides of the 401k coin, it's important to know the narrative and the history.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's anything financially that more people are involved in that they have less knowledge about than plans like the 401k. And so the first thing I would say is that there was never a think tank or a brain trust of smart women and smart men that got together and said, hey, how can a middle-income worker really set themselves up well for retirement? Let's build a plan. That never happened. To understand retirement, let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to where retirement began. There was a company called American Express, and they weren't always about credit cards. They were a courier, like UPS or Federal Express. And in the late 1800s, they said, let's have a pension. Let's get people in, and we'll pay them while they work. And if they work for us for many, many years, we'll continue to pay them. And you'll never be rich, you'll never be prosperous, but you'll survive, and we'll give you a little pension. And that was where the first pension was really born.
Wow.
Some people want to be an entrepreneur, some people want to be investors and really try to prosper. Other people just want survival. And this idea of a pension, that you'd never be rich, but boy, it would help you survive, it really changed the American dream for a lot of people.
And gave a sense of security, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll make that trade, some of us. The going for the freedom instead of taking the security, that's a popular trade, and it changed education. Because think about it, our great-grandparents, after high school, if they went, you could go work on the farm, you could go in the military, you can go workforce, maybe you go to college. But with more and more companies saying, hey, we'll take care of you, we'll give you a pension, we'll take care of you, well, going to college and learning to work at a job became really, you go to the job fair. And there's really two types of people. Some people are scared of losing their job. Some people are scared of having one.
Right.
And so it was. So people would say, hey, here's the program. Go to school, get good grades, go to the college, land a job, work there for many, many years, and get a pension. Well, in the 60s, you might remember, if you're a history buff at all or a car buff, is there was a company called the Studebaker Company.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And they had these cars, and they had a union and workers. Well, they fell on tough times. People weren't buying Studebakers, and when you looked at that company's finances, they couldn't pay their workers. They were going to go bankrupt, and he had all these workers saying, what's going to happen to my pension?
Right.
And so that was kind of the beginning of the end of pensions that we've seen happen. And they went to President Kennedy and said, hey, what can you do for us? And he said, ask not what your country can do for you. But in reality, he said, okay, we'll see what we can do. And he established a commission to study this problem of companies that were not funding their pensions properly, that put the worker at risk of not being able to retire. Well, he unfortunately was assassinated, and President Johnson didn't do much, and Watergate took over Nixon. But in 1974, almost 100 years since that first American Express pension, they signed something called ERISA. And ERISA was a legislative idea to bring these businesses up to snuff, to say, look, you're going to have to take care of not only the worker, but the spouse. You're going to have to prove to us that you're allocating funds properly. And the regulations, businesses hated these handcuffs. They hated these regulations. And so it created a greater enmity between business and the worker. And all of this set the stage for the 401k.